Kathy, let's zoom in on Apple. There's been some concerns about the popularity of the iPhone X, especially in countries like China. Of course, they've got 3 models out. This is very unusual, the 8, the 8 Plus, and the iPhone X. Does that concern you?
No, it doesn't. Always at this time of year, we get these jitters. Last year, it was the same thing, and the stock did extremely well throughout the year. And the channel checks happened to be wrong. I don't know if they're right or wrong this time, but I know that Apple is changing its complexion as a company. We think the killer apps out there are in healthcare using artificial intelligence. They're integrating into a lot of healthcare systems around the world. And also augmented reality. We think that's a killer app in the industrial space for them. And add those to the other services, which are about 25% of their revenues. And we've got the makings of a very different company.
Julie, I want to dig in a little bit to Alphabet and Facebook. Obviously, these are the 2 biggest competitors in the online ad market. Both of them have been facing controversy around fake news, Facebook especially. Do we think that's going to play into the results this quarter?
I mean, I would be very surprised if someone like Mark Zuckerberg does not address, the changes to the news feed and different things that have happened since the company's last earnings report. This will be the analyst's first chance to even ask them on the earnings call following the report, what impact this is going to see. So far, the stocks have still performed well, so it seems like they're very optimistic at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised for something that Mark or someone else on the call says to, make that tick back a little bit as well. And the other thing you have to consider that's important in a lot of these reports is the cloud share of their revenue. There's a reason firms like Amazon can offer you same-day or 2-day shipping for free, right? It's because they make so much of their money on Amazon Web Services. If all of a sudden that revenue starts to tick down a little bit, you could see those shares fall a little bit, because even continued into this year after a record performance last year, they've done very well. And analysts are very optimistic on what they're going to see on Wednesday and Thursday.
Amazon also increasingly becoming a bigger player in the online ad market. Kathy, what do you think about the changes to Facebook's news feed? I mean, historically, advertisers really haven't had much of a choice. When Facebook changes its policies, that seems to be the same today. Do you think this will materially impact the amount of revenue that they bring in?
Well, it could in the short term, but we really think that Facebook is doing the right thing. It has always done the right thing to keep engagement going, and clearly it was getting some kind of signal from consumers that that engagement might have been tailing off. We think ASPs are going to offset. The value of Facebook's advertising is going to go up. It's going to be harder to reach those consumers. So we think the prices are going to go up.
So, Julie, moving on then to Amazon, you talked a little bit about the cloud. We know they've made some changes to Prime membership. We know that they recently bought Whole Foods. They're launching Amazon Go. Obviously, they're investing heavily in the future of the company. Will this impact the bottom line?
I mean, it could, but it shows like Jeff Bezos has never been afraid to make investments that he thinks are going to pay off in the future. You also have pharmacy that we haven't mentioned yet that they've been debating on, making further strides in. It almost seems like there's no industry that Amazon can't enter into at this point, whether it's through a partnership or just straight up buying a company like you saw with Whole Foods late last year. Anything that Bezos thinks is going to pay off, he's not afraid to go ahead and make a mark in.
So, Kathy, if you had to pick, where are you most bullish? I mean, all these stocks are doing well, but where are you putting the majority of your money?
Well, we happen today to be focusing on stocks that really are in the sweet spot of this S-curve, so this 10 to 20% market share range of a trend. So we like all of them. We think most of them are in our top 10. We're taking profits to invest in other stocks that might be a little beaten up by the earnings season. That would be in other areas of the market, like genomics had been, and those are starting to pay off nicely. But these are keepers. Whenever you're in the sweet spot of the S-curve, you really shouldn't sell, just adjust position sizes to limit risk in the long run.
How long does this remain in the sweet spot? I mean, how long does the rally keep up?
Well, these S-curves can last years. I mean, as I said, online retail in the United States has just hit 10% of total retail. We have just started. Mobile advertising as a percent of total global advertising, only 17%. Really just lifting off. Streaming media as a percent of total media consumption, really 10% by some measurements, a little higher than that by others. Just starting off. So really what we're learning is the tech and telecom bubble in the late 90s was onto something big. It was just way too early. It's happening now.